Chapter 9 Disrespect. As Holly is leaving the lobby, the number ringing on the cell phone didn't look real when she first saw it. The name that pops up is her friend Johnny. Excitedly, she answers it. "Hello, hello," answers Holly. "Hello, hello, can you hear me?" Johnny replies with his proper African accent. "Yes, Johnny, how are you?" She can't contain excitement in her voice. "I'm well, and it sounds like you are doing well also, my friend. Where are you?" "I came in town from Charlotte last night, but I am only here for the day to pack up my things. I must return to Africa. My family needs me to come back home." "How is your father doing?" "He's doing okay, but not the best." "I'm sorry to hear that. I want to see you before you leave." "Well, if you would like to come by now, I will be here for an hour or two before my ride takes me back down to North Carolina." "Okay, I will come right over." Holly knows she is to meet Teddy in about 10 minutes for their project, so she texts him to push back the time for an hour. She is not too concerned with Teddy because he usually shows up half an hour late anyway. Holly gets into her car and meets Johnny at the home he was staying when he was attending school. The drive to the house is only about 5 minutes. Unfortunately, Johnny's ride has arrived very early. Holly and Johnny only get an opportunity to catch up with each other for about 20 minutes. When he no longer could delay his trip, Holly and Johnny embrace, knowing they would probably never see each other again. Johnny gets in the car and smiles as Holly sadly waves goodbye to her friend. The car drive back to the apartment happens quicker than Holly imagines. She is sitting in the parking lot, debating whether to tell Teddy to come down or not. She decides to leave well enough alone and keeps their meeting time at where it is. Holly goes up to the apartment. She straightens up the apartment in the living room and kitchen. While in the kitchen, she hears strange noises coming from the bedroom. She moves over to the bedroom and notices a sock on the doorknob. Holly stands there at the door looking at the knob. When it finally registers what is going on, she grabs her laptop and cell phone and leaves the apartment. In some measure, Holly is frustrated with Laura hooking up with a guy in the apartment when she knew Holly had planned to study there this evening. As she is standing outside the door, she needs to contact Teddy before he arrives so they can find another location to study. Holly is thinking maybe a room in one of the halls like Kennedy Hall. Holly calls Teddy's number. As Holly's cell is ringing on her end, she can faintly hear a cell phone ringtone inside her apartment. She is truly hoping it is just a coincidence and decides to wait 2 minutes before trying the number again. After 2 minutes, she manually presses all the numbers except the last one of Teddy's number. She walks to the part of the wall that is closest to the bedroom and presses the last number. The cell phone ringtone sounds again. Laura is in there with Teddy. Moments later, Teddy comes out of the apartment with his notebook, buttoning up his shirt. Holly is flabbergasted. "So, did you want to get started?" asked Teddy, not looking Holly in the eye. Holly slips by him and goes into the apartment, locking the door behind her. "If we fail this project, remember it's entirely your fault," comments Teddy as he slaps his hand on the front door from the outside. He walks away, shaking his head. When Teddy gets back to the frat house, he brags about how his sociology's partner's roommate was flirting with him. Some of the brothers are cheering and high-fiving each other throughout Teddy's account of what transpired. Ethan and a few others were initially interested in Teddy's conquest, but slowly peel away as the narrative becomes more graphic. Their departure from the captive group is met with vulgar comments from Teddy. Ethan just waves his hand in an I don't care motion and heads upstairs. Meanwhile, in the apartment, Holly sits down on the couch in the living area. She takes a deep breath and decides she can't deal with the drama right now. Besides, she really doesn't know what to say to Laura. Holly is very angry, but is not completely sure what she is angry about. Focusing on her classes is what she wants to do. Her workload is enormous, with several exams coming up. She opens her book and spreads them on the coffee table and the couch. Her concentration is interrupted with thoughts of why. Why did she decide to room with Laura? Why didn't she drop out of the sociology class when she had the opportunity? Why didn't she ask for a new partner when she knew Teddy was an idiot? Why did her friend Ajani have to leave when she really wants to talk to him? As Holly goes through her list of why me, Laura opens the door to the bedroom. Holly tries to prepare herself for the imminent, uncomfortable conversation. But instead of coming into the living room, Laura slips into the bathroom to take a shower. After her shower, she returns back to the bedroom without a word. Holly tries to study the best she can, but calls it a night after 4 hours. In the bedroom, the lights are off, and Laura is pretending to be asleep. Holly turns on the lights to find her shower caddy and to make a small statement of contempt. She uses the bathroom and gets ready for bed. Her cell phone rings, and it's her sister Willow. She answers it. Willow says Wesley would not go to sleep until he said goodnight to Auntie. Holly smiles and tells Wesley goodnight. She shuts off the cell, plugs it in to recharge, then slips under her covers. A few minutes later, Laura rolls over in the bed with her head facing Holly's direction. Are you okay? I mean, you're not jealous or anything, right? You and Teddy are just friends, questions Laura. In her mind, Holly knows Laura must be kidding. She can't think she is upset over Teddy in that way. Holly is depleted. It has been a long and exhausting day. She simply responds, I'm fine, which is an alternative fact. She is not fine. Teddy and I are just classmates doing a project together. Okay, good night then. Good night. The next day, as the ladies are leaving Kennedy Hall, Teddy catches up to them. Of course, no acknowledgement is made of last night's affairs. He actually is making an effort to be kind by offering copies of last year's sociology exam. He offers to share a copy with Holly when they meet this evening in Kennedy Hall to really work on their project. Holly provides an unenthusiastic acceptance of his proposal so they can get this race project moving. Teddy and Destiny walk in one direction while Holly and Becky head to the auditorium. Sensing some trepidation between Holly and Teddy, Becky wants to know how the project session went with Teddy last evening. Holly explains everything that happened, and the words Holly had been searching for came rolling out of Becky's mouth. Wow, that is so disrespectful, states Becky with an I can't believe it look. Thank you, Becky. Thank you, replies Holly as she gives Becky a side-to-side shoulder hug. I thought I was from outer space thinking this was rude and disrespectful. And I need to clarify that it is not because I'm jealous. Wow, I still can't believe it. Besides the extremely poor timing of it and no apology, does Laura have any idea what type of guy Teddy is? I know, she surprises me sometimes. Anyway, I truly appreciate you listening. I feel a little better. Good. Oh, and make sure you get a copy of the exam from Teddy, because my gender project is not going along so well. If Teddy would do what I tell him, we'd be all right. He tells me women are bossy, comments Becky, laughing. I'll get it and make some copies. Now Holly understood what her mother meant about disrespect. It feels like she did not matter, and Holly knew she did matter. The fact that her friend Becky could acknowledge those feelings based on the situation was just as meaningful. Holly thought she should not let the incident slide without telling Laura what she really felt. Holly remembers her papi telling her, "Not all people think the same way. It's important to offer your perspective." Now that she was not emotionally upset, she is going to make it a point to talk with Laura about the situation. Teddy would be a completely different matter. She figured he would care less, and it would only be another obstacle to getting their project done. Holly and Laura eat dinner in the cafeteria. Holly did explain how she was feeling about the incident yesterday. Laura explained her intention was not to be disrespectful to Holly, but she was so infatuated by Teddy and his green eyes. She obviously was still obsessed by him because she didn't pick up on Holly's brown eyes rolling to the top of her head, annoyed with her moonstruck behavior over him. Holly admittedly acknowledged Teddy has a striking appearance, but shallow good looks have never been her thing. Holly genuinely believes in substance. Although it isn't how Holly envisioned her conversation with Laura would go, this time she really was fine with it and ready to move on. After the roommates finished dinner, Holly is supposed to meet with Teddy in Kennedy Hall and is reluctant to let Laura know in fear of never getting this project completed. When the two ladies leave the lobby, they head in different directions. They are only yards away when Laura wants to know where Holly is going. Slowly, Holly's head sinks down. "I am going to Kennedy to meet with Teddy to get some work done," informs Holly with a stern look on her face. A huge smile comes on Laura's face as she skips over to Holly. "I just want to say hi to him, and then I will leave, I promise," smiles Laura. "You better, Laura. I have a ton of work to do," frowns Holly. As they approach the building, Holly informs Laura about how Teddy is always late, so she may not want to wait around. Laura tells Holly that he was actually a few minutes early yesterday. The fact of the matter is, he was at the apartment when Holly texted him she would be late. Laura explains how he talked about becoming a lawyer, and she even informs Holly he has a 3.3 GPA. This new revelation may account for his buckling down to get his work done. In the classroom, there are long tables for them to work on. Holly enters and is pleasantly surprised at how ready Teddy is to get started. She moves to the end of the table and begins to set up her laptop and unload her book bag. Laura enters, and Teddy looks shocked to see her, but does manage to give her a smile. "Hey," offers Teddy as he gets up and gives Laura a hug. I just stopped by to say hey, replies Laura, grinning from ear to ear. Cool. There is an awkward pause with no one knowing what to say. Holly is positioned behind Teddy but facing Laura. She seems to be daydreaming. Holly captures Laura's attention, then gestures like she is looking at a pretend watch on her wrist. Laura gets the message. Well, I will let you guys get to work, offers Laura. She clumsily steps up to hug Teddy again, and then she leaves. Okay, Teddy, before we get started, do you have last year's sociology exam? Questions Holly. Yes, I do. Here it is, replies Teddy as he hands her a copy of the exam. Thanks. In Chapter 9, do you feel that Laura and Teddy's behavior was disrespectful to Holly? Please comment below. See you in Chapter 10.